Hi, welcome to today's podcast on Keeping It Real, where we talk about real financial problems with real people and talk about real solutions. I'm Irene Meyer.
And I'm Phillip Villanueva. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Irene, the other day I was listening to a speaker and they had mentioned this term. It's very common in the financial industry, but I just wanted to get your take on it. The person had said, poor, if you will, common people, they try to save money, but the wealthy or the rich invest money, right? Is that not the same thing? When you're saving money, you're investing into yourself, all that kind of stuff. What is your take on that?
I think with investing money, when I think of that, I think of growing money. I don't necessarily think of saving money as growing money. Is that kind of how you see things?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. But it's interesting because most people, and you tell me the people that you come across trying to help in the community and whatnot, when you talk to them about investing, they actually think that they're spending the money somehow. It's not for them. It's like it's going away, right? Is that the kind of feel you get when you talk to people about investing their money?
You have something right on there because it is. They think they're depriving themselves of something when they think of investing money. Like it's almost like saving money is gathering food and hibernating. Like that's their mentality. They're gonna have it, right? And like you said, when they invest money, it's like they won't have it anymore, which is weird because I just finished saying like investing to me is growing it. That might have to do with the mentality of immediate gratification versus waiting and being patient.
But
What do you
here's the
think?
thing. When you're saving money, right? When people think I'm saving money, what is the most common place people are trying to save money?
Like bank accounts, a
Yeah, a savings account,
piggy
right?
bank.
A savings account. They what they do is they'll open up a second account or something, and they'll start putting some money aside into that savings account, and they're saving money, right? And you talk about
Right.
immediate gratification. However, they never ever see that thing grow unless they're putting money into it themselves. You don't see it grow unless you're putting money into it yourself. An investment portfolio would actually be the exact same thing for immediate gratification, with the exception of you'll actually see growth happening within a very short period of time, realistically, right? You're not going to see extensive growth. Like when I'm talking to a client, I'm usually talking in a long-term savings plan, right? Not an immediate get rich quick scheme at all, right? That's not the idea of it. But if they could be patient for 1, 2, or 3 months, they're going to see some more substantial growth than they would have ever seen in their savings account, right? In comparison. Would you agree with me?
Yeah. I think when we start talking about like the time horizon, that makes a difference 100%. But as you were talking, I was starting to feel and think the people that I've helped for so long, they think that there's risk. Like you said,
Mm.
like you mentioned it, they think their money's going away when they invest. And I think we have to talk about that a little bit more because why do people think that? Like, why do people think that their money is just going away and then they're never going to see it again, or they think they're depriving themselves or sacrificing money? Because that's a very common thought. That's a very common belief.
I think when you talk about investing, a lot of people immediately think of the stock market
Yeah.
and things like day trading and things of that
Yeah.
nature, right? I think that's immediately what they think, which is, in my opinion, not investing your money. That's gambling your money. That's my personal opinion. I think there are a lot of people that work the stock market that would disagree with me, but I'm a financial advisor. I'm not a gambler. So I'm not going to be on par with them on that one. Yeah. So that's what I think immediately. That's what they think. Day trading, things of that nature, where they are taking a very high risk in a very volatile market. And then next they lost everything, right?
Yeah.
Because they
That's what they
either
think.
yeah, because I think that that's what they're thinking, and they lose everything because either they're trying to do it themselves with some online program, right? Or the advisor is not actually an advisor on the other side of the internet, and they're just someone just like themselves who's playing the stock market just like they would themselves, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I
I think
think
you're right. You're right. Why do they think that though? I don't get how it became synonyms, investing and then stock market.
yeah, because people use it interchangeably. They'll even use the idea of investing in segregated funds or investing in mutual funds as the stock market. They'll actually
Right,
refer and interchange the wording, right?
right,
And
right,
that's where they're making the mistake, right?
right.
People don't realize that they can actually invest their money and have it actually guaranteed to be profitable to an extent, right? And that's where they don't realize it. There are a lot of variables that could play. And that's why it's very important to speak to a professional about it, as opposed to I'm seeing more and more, you don't need an advisor, just use this app. It is a proven fact that if you use an advisor, you're going to get anywhere from 3 to 10% greater return on your investment than by using an app. And that's actually, there were studies done, and I've seen that as well. And that's being more and more proven. But again, people may have that fear factor of, what advisor do I talk to? Who do I talk to? I don't know anybody, or they're going to cost a lot of money.
As you're thinking about it, and I hope people can get the ideas, you don't need a surgeon to take that lump out, just cut it out yourself.
I don't.
That's the same thing. It's, yeah, you can cut it out yourself, couldn't you? It's not impossible, right?
Mhm.
But how do you avoid the risk of bleeding out or avoid the risk of making even more complications? And that's exactly what you were saying is, yeah, you can figure it out yourself, but you're doing it out of luck, really. You're doing it out of like speculation, out of guesswork. You're not doing it out of actual education. And even fund managers who actually manage funds, like segregated funds or mutual funds, the ones who manage those funds, they're doing a whole lot of deep down analysis of the financial statements of these companies that they've chosen to invest in. So I think that people need to understand that these robo investors applications that we have online or on your app may save you money in terms of what you think actually you should be paying. In terms of, I think people get too caught up on fees because they actually don't know very much how fees work. But if you would rather risk your money, then yeah, definitely do the trading yourself, because that's where the risk, again, like I'd mentioned, doing surgery on yourself, because, well, it can't be that hard,
Yeah.
right?
There are some people who refuse to go see a doctor. There are those people that
Sure.
absolutely refuse to see a doctor. They're sick and whatnot, and they're sick and they're sick and they're sick and they're sick. They might still be able to function in life. Maybe they may not be getting where they want to be in life, career wise or fitness wise or family wise, because they're always sick, because they're refusing to see a doctor. But the problem you have when you're dealing with your financial life and doing that is, you are battling the element of time,
Yeah.
right? The longer you wait to do anything, the less money you will actually have in the long term. And that's, people don't realize what the difference is. It's considerable.
Yeah, 100%. Now, if we were talking to the people that are watching this who have always thought that saving money was a sound thing and investing money was a risky thing, how can we help them understand perhaps even a combination of both would be ideal, and how to work it in to their financial management? Because I think maybe a lot of the question comes from, I don't have money. So their mentality is that money is going to go away. And between you and me, Phil, when we talk about helping people grow their money, we are talking about not getting a whole bunch of money in a week or a month or even a year. We're talking about long-term growth. How do we get people thinking about investing for the future
Mhm.
is just as important as paying for these bills that they have that they think takes priority. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. You always have to do both. You always have to maintain your current life now, but also prepare for the future. Because here's why those people, like, they're constantly saying, I'm never getting ahead. Is because the minute they can breathe, their mouth is just getting over the water, something pulls them back down again. Something happens. Maybe their tires, they get a tire blowout on their car, or somebody gets really sick and now they've got to buy extra medicine, or somebody gets hurt and now they've got to buy a cast, or their kid decides they want to play hockey. Whatever. Something happens that's going to be a big expense that is impacting them to where they can't get ahead. They're not doing anything other than thinking about the immediate picture, right? So
Right.
part of when I said you have to do everything, if you're talking to an advisor, if you're talking to somebody who's dealing with financial planning, right? They want to target, yes, saving money, short-term investing of money, and long-term investing of money. All three. The reason why the short term is for an emergency fund. That's the short term, is an emergency fund. You want to have a just in case fund that's still growing. And here's the thing. What's the interest rate at a bank when someone's leaving money in a savings account? If you're lucky, maybe 0.01%. I think the
Yeah,
range is 1.01 to 0.05% is
right.
the average range of a standard savings account at a bank. Now, you have the choice of money that you want to set aside for a short term. You know what? That's no problem. I'll just leave it in. I'll just set up a savings account. I'll have that as my emergency fund. Okay, so it's going to possibly, if any, grow at a maximum of 0.05%. Or you could do the exact same thing and have it growing potentially at anywhere from 5 to 15 to 20%. What makes more sense? And
Right.
if you want, as people listening to this, pull out your calculators and without the idea of compounding interest, because that's how it grows, just do the difference between 0.05 and 15%. And
Yeah,
then tell me you don't want to set up an actual investment portfolio as opposed to just a standard savings account. It doesn't make any sense to me, right, to do
yeah,
that. I personally think people's bank accounts should just be the amount of money that they're spending on a monthly basis.
yeah. Me
Everything
too.
else should be invested.
Right. Yeah, me too. I agree, 100%. I agree. Now, how can we provide value today so that even just hints and tips as to how they can even start now by carving money out of their current cash flow to be able to invest?
Right. Yeah. There's those times where you have that stubborn husband and the wife keeps saying, you know what, just go to the doctor. I'm sick of you complaining. Just go to the doctor. Just go to the doctor. Just go. They fight it and they get so mad. So fine, I'm gonna go. And then they go and the doctor gives them medicine and they're healthy the next day because they just did it. You know what? For the people out there who's a little bit hesitant or really unsure, you know what? Just do it. Like realistically, if you feel like you're struggling now, if you feel like you don't have money now, what do you got to lose? What do you have to lose? And in the end, if it turns out that you have something now, then there you go. Right now, you can work more seriously with that financial advisor about how to really make it all happen. Right? Just
Yeah,
chance it, try it. Contact an advisor that you can believe in or someone that you can trust, and just try it and
yeah,
see what happens at that point. And then
yeah,
I say this term a lot: baby steps. Take that first step, that first leap of trust, if you will, and just try it and see what happens. And if, like I said, if it starts to grow, if it starts to do what they told you it was going to do, then okay, have a serious sit down with that person and go from there.
you said something very impactful. You said something like, if you're having trouble with money now, I want to add to that. If you're having trouble with money now and you're working, you have a
Mhm.
job and you're earning income, then how is that going to change when you're not working and you don't have an income? And
Yeah.
that's what you're working towards now. You're investing for that person who's 65, 70, who can't work anymore because they want young blood,
Mm.
or maybe your health is deteriorated, you can't work anymore, because it's going to happen. One day you're going to get old enough that you just can't work anymore. That's who you're working for. That's who you're putting money away for. It's not going away. You're actually giving your future self that money. That's
Right.
really what it comes down to.
I just spoke to a gentleman at the gym actually who literally retired like last week. He came up to me and he said, "Hey Phil, I retired. Congratulations, that's great." He goes, "But you want to know something? I wasn't ready. I didn't realize and I wasn't thinking that when I retired, I'm not working anymore. I have to survive off of my pension and every so now me and my wife right now are like we're sitting down and really trying to figure. So obviously I offer my services, but at the same time, he was in a panic. I don't know if we're gonna have enough money. And I said, you know what? That is the biggest fear of anyone retiring. But it's a shame that it takes retiring to realize that.
Oh my God, it's too late.
Yes, I know. You know what? I don't want to scare people because there are a lot of people that's right at that when by saying it's too late, it's never too late. It's just a whole lot harder than it should be.
Okay, yes, sure, fine.
Okay.
And this is where we talk about investing your money, because if you allow your money to grow now, even if it is like you're 50, 60 years old, at least it's growing instead of just putting money away.
Oh yeah, like I did a small video and maybe at some point we can share it, but where I actually did a comparison of someone investing starting at the age of 20 and then someone waiting until they were 40 to do it, and the huge difference between the two. It's if you want to have that life that you see people on TV, and it's like, why do they have such a perfect life and yada yada yada. That's not real. That's, you know what, if someone really wants to get there, they have to start young.
Yeah.
They have to start in their early 20s, mid 20s. I'll even stretch it out to borderline 30 if they really, if they're stretching it out. And then at that point, they could possibly have that lifestyle and
Yeah.
really and truly live that lifestyle. Where if you wait until your 40s and 50s, you're gonna, unless you seriously struggle now and really commit to it, it's gonna be a long, hard road, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I guess it just starts with kind of even recognizing that there could be a problem. And
Yeah,
that's even just being a little bit curious. Just a little
yeah,
bit curious. Am I going to be okay? Even just a little bit curious. Reach out to your financial advisor. But if you don't have one, or if you haven't heard from yours in a while, again, comment on this video, guys, and one of us will get back to you.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing. That's another. You brought up an interesting point. If your financial advisor hasn't reached out to you in, and I'm going to broaden that term, financial advisor, your insurance agent, anyone who's worked on anything for you, for your future, anything, if they haven't reached out for you, to you to just see how things are going or touch base, you got to think, okay, how much are they actually invested in me? And then at that point, figure it out, because it's really important. Your life has probably changed from 5 years ago, right? So if
Mhm.
that's the case, could it have been in a better situation if you had spoken to your advisor, whatever level of advisor that is, and could it have been better at this point if they actually were in constant contact with you, right? And that's
Yeah.
really important. So if your advisor is not giving you the professional relationship that they should be, then you may want to just see what's out there and
Yes.
see what different ways and the way people do their business, because a lot of them are independent, a lot of them are self-employed, and they're running their own businesses, and people run their own businesses in many different ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Find a shoe that fits you.
Yeah, yeah, agreed, agreed. I think this is a great time to end this video. And maybe in future videos, you guys can give us ideas. Put in the comments what kind of videos you would like us to talk about that would be helpful, and what kind of value can we bring to you. Anyways, talk to you guys later.
Yes, and before I let you go, Irene did mention, if you are interested in getting some help yourself, again, please comment in the comments below, or feel free. I believe our email is also going to be in there. Just send us an email, and we'll definitely respond to you and see if there's any way we can help you out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Well, catch you later, Phil.
Okay. Have a great day.
Bye.